Hello everyone and welcome back today for round 3 of the GT Sport League here at Gavra Racing. You are joined by myself, X-Natty, and you're also joined by my co-commentator
Cryptic.
And like I quickly mentioned at the start, we're here for round 3 of the GT Sport League at Mount Panorama. If you remember this race from last year, it was a pretty good, interesting race. We had a nice climactic event at the end with a few incidents but a few overtakes as well, and unlike last season though, we are in the daytime at approximately 4:30 rather than in the pitch black. But we have all the drivers here today. We've got an extra driver, Wolfie, in the Toyota Supra, who is replacing Woody for tonight's race. He is a replacement driver, and I think he might be, join next week as a full driver potentially. I'm not too sure, have to check with that. But yeah, Mount Panorama, 23 corners on this track, and hopefully it should be a good one.
Yeah, I remember this race last season.
I don't think it went too well for you last season.
Yeah, I had to pit 8 times because of damage.
And on board with Epic, he has started his lap. We'll see what he can do in the Aston Martin. Down towards turn 2 this is, braking just after the 100-meter board, hooks up nicely on the curb, doesn't hit the barrier as it is so easy to do around this track. It's kind of like Monaco, you could say, or a little bit more like Baku but with greater elevation. Obviously the top of the track is a very twisty tight S's with closely compact barriers. It's like having Vietnam but squished and compact and downhill, so it's, if you thought that was bad, it's like, whoa, hello. But it seems to be a pretty clean lap from Epic so far. We'll ride on board. Runs a little bit wide onto the grass. That probably might cost him a tenth or a two. But trying to keep control as best he can on the road. You can just see how much the elevation changes to going down the dipper, as it's called, into now turn 16. Turn 18, I think this is. Seems to have hooked it up quite nicely. He's quite good on the traction. He's currently on the racing soft tyres, so not opting for the quicker, or the presumably quicker super softs. Obviously the 4 different compounds of tyre, the super softs, the soft, mediums and hards. As he sets a 1:33 something in the middle sector. I couldn't quite see what that was, but he's approaching turn 19, 20 and 21 into the penultimate few corners. Epic and the Aston Martin. I think he finished 4th last week in Dragon Trail Gardens, braking just around the 50-meter board into the final corner. Hits the apex nicely, doesn't run too wide as it's quite easy to do, and comes across the line with a 2-minute 2.3. A decent lap from him on the soft tyres. His Play Dutchie behind him, who's currently just done a 2-minute 1.8. A really impressive lap from him. Verky the Viper coming across the line. He's currently on the super soft. Sets a 2-minute 5. What was that? 2-minute 5 flat. Puts himself in 3rd. Can Scouting Ninja go any better on the soft tyres? He's on an outlap, so it won't count to anything just yet. Woody's also, Wolfie's on an outlap. To Saints just started his outlap, I think, and so has Tiger, his BCMR teammate. BCMR, sorry. Obviously the sponsor for the GT Sport League, the Black Country Metal Recovery. It's great to have them as a sponsor here for the league. And
No driver kissing the walls or colliding with the walls yet.
Not yet, but don't count your chickens before they hatch, as they say. Dutchie scraping the wall a little bit, but it probably won't cost him too much time. It almost looks like he's drifting that Toyota through the upper parts of the track as he approaches a really tricky downhill section a little bit onto the curve. Bin sets a personal best of a 2-minute 6.8. I think he was on the soft tyres. I'll double check that in a minute. On board with Play Dutchie though. We're getting on board as he approaches turn 18, Forest Elbow, as it's called in Australia. Shifts down to 2nd before climbing back through the gears down the long straight as he approaches turn 19, 20 and 21. Comment in the chat asking if the PS5 is out. When do you guys, when are we going to switch? I wouldn't think too soon, maybe. I'll probably stick around on PS4 for some time before I get a PS5, but probably will end up getting a PS5 eventually. But on board with Dutchie now, approaches the final corner, turn 23, as he actually comes into the pits. So probably going to change tyres. Won't add any fuel, as obviously the cars are quicker when they have lighter fuel. Epic goes pole.
2-minute 1.5.
Provisional pole with a 2-minute 1.5, 3/10 quicker than Play Dutchy. I believe Fergie the Viper's coming into the pits. He can improve. There's a little bit of traffic though with Toussaint and Scouting Ninja. Toussaint going around the outside of the Mercedes into the final corner. This might cost him a few tenths. We'll see what lap times they all do respectively. Toussaint goes up into third, but Tiger puts it on provisional pole. A 2-minute flat 2-minute flat 0.9. Wolfie does it's 2-minute 9.5. I'm sure he might have a few seconds left to find in that lap. What a lap though from Tiger Assassin. 6/10 quicker from Epic on the super softs.
Really good lap from Tiger. He was looking forward to this track.
And it was unfortunately he couldn't race here last season.
Yeah.
And he might bring the fight, try and bring the fight to Dutchy this time out. But Toussaint getting a little bit blocked on his flying lap. Obviously, Scout Ninja was on a lap, I believe, so he doesn't have to get out the way as he is also on a flying lap. But Toussaint and Tiger, both teammates, are pretty close together. Probably with some team orders or a strategic advantage to get the slipstream. As Finn goes into 5th, 2-minute 5 flat. For him and the Ferrari, that Ferrari's probably going to struggle, similarly to the Honda NSX that Topster was driving in last year. Obviously, it's a very snappy car on both the front and the rear, mainly on the front though. So he's gonna have to try and keep out of the barriers, especially in the downhill section. But currently 2.5 seconds behind Toussaint, so there's a clear difference in confidence, you could say, around this track. Obviously, if you don't have enough confidence, you're not going to be driving as quick as, you know, because it's a really tight street circuit, similarly to Monaco and Baku. There's someone approaching the final corner now. It's Epic. We'll see if he can improve on his time. He's still on the racing soft tyres. Comes around the final corner. I don't think it's going to be quick enough for pole, but will he improve on his lap? I don't think he's going to improve on his flying lap. 2.4 seconds off the pace. Dutchy is on an out lap and will be looking to start his lap. And interestingly, Dutchy's out lap has just done a 2-minute flat. I didn't quite see what the decimal was. A 2-minute 0.7. So he's gone quicker on his out lap. So this is going to be a really interesting lap from Play Dutchy here. Toussaint moves his way up into 2nd place. 2-minute 1.4, 4.5 tenths behind his teammate. 2-minute 1.4 from Toussaint. Scout Ninja improves and goes up into 8th place. 2-minute 7 flat. Wolfie, really good lap from him. 2-minute 3.3. I believe he was called in not too long ago to do this race, so it's impressive from him. Play Dutchy's teammate. He's got a lot to live up to if he wants to beat his teammates. Kind of like Alex Albon and Max Verstappen down at Toyota. But on board with Play Dutchy now. He on the super soft tyres. He'll be looking to try and do his best. A really good lap, as good as his out lap, if not better. A little bit twitchy on the rear, coming through turn, I think that's turn 10. As he's 2 tenths purple in the, what sector is this? Sector 2. I think there's only 3. There's 4 sectors into sector 3 now. A really tricky downhill section. And you can just see his commitment, his dedication, his confidence going down the tricky S's section of the track. Now the Toyota going down the main straight, probably where it lacks the most speed down the straight line. But reaching almost 160 miles per hour. There you go, 160, 173 miles per hour down the straight. We'll compare that to the Aston Martins later on. Ted moves up into 8th place at 2-minute 6.3. Play Dutchy though, it looks to be a clean lap. It might be a quick lap. We'll just have to wait and see as he approaches the final corner now. Currently 9 tenths off pole position. This is going to be a really good lap from Play Dutchy, I think. Across the line, it's a 2-minute flat 2-minute 0.8. That's 1/10 quicker than Tiger Assassin. And that is a really tight margin between those two. Tiger's currently on an out lap. Toussaint though is going to cross the line on his lap. I don't think he's going to improve as Fergie the Viper improves on his lap. 2-minute 3.9. He's up into 6th place in the BMW. And a Dutchy on another purple sector here. Fergie, I've just seen Fergie the Viper's helmet. It's got a nice bois down the middle of it, similarly to Kimi Räikkönen's famous catchphrase. Or it's not much of a catchphrase, it's just a word. But Epic's on an out lap. Two Saints on a flying lap. He's got Fergie the Viper ahead of him, and probably wouldn't want to get stuck behind traffic. Currently only 40 seconds to go. That's gone really quickly in this quali session. But Dutchy now approaching turn 11, the start of the Dipper, as it's called, the tricky downhill S's, which I've probably said many times, but there's not many other words for it.
Wolfie doing really well as a replacement driver. He's in 5th right now.
Wolfie in the Toyota. Currently 5/10 clear of Fergie the Viper on the super soft. He's on an outlap currently, but he's not going to be able to complete that outlap, as we've currently got 3, 2, 1 seconds left to go in quali, and Ted is going to be the first one to finish the lap as he comes across the final corner now. Big snap on the rear as he gets onto the grass and comes across the line in 8th place. Playdachi though, he's on his final lap. Wonder whether he'll improve. I'm not too sure about his lap. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. Through the final corner now, it looks clean, it looks committed, but is it going to be quicker? No. Can Epic improve on his lap? Epic doesn't improve on his lap. Oh, he's at 1 minute 59.5? Was that an outlap or was that...
I don't know.
No idea what's happened. I don't know whether it was invalidated or not. Finn goes quicker, moves his way up into 7th place. 2 minute 4.8 to Saint. Tiger and Toussaint coming across the line. Can Tiger improve and beat Dutchy to pole?
Yo.
He can't. Can Toussaint? Neither of them improve on their quickest laps. Who else is on a lap? I believe Scouting's coming across the final corner now. He doesn't improve on his personal best. There's Wolfie coming across the line. This is going to be a good lap from Wolfie, but it's invalid. Or there's no time left in the session for him to complete the lap.
Once again dominating.
Once again, Dutchy is on pole position. We did have a few lobby glitches before we started, which is why RNG and Math Gamer are still in the pits doing some interesting manoeuvres. But now that the quali is technically over, I'm going to have a bit of time now to do the grid. So, Playdachi will line up on pole position for the 3rd time in a row this season, I think.
Yeah.
I am right in saying that, yeah. Dutchy 3 poles from 3. Tiger Assassin will line up only a 10th behind him in 2nd place. Toussaint, Tiger's teammate, in 3rd. Epic in 4th, only a 10th behind Toussaint, but 7/10 behind Dutchy. Wolfie in 5th. Currently replacing Woody in this race. Berkey the Viper in 6th, iFin in 7th, Ted in 8th, Scouting Ninja in 9th, and RNG and Math Gamer will both start from the back of the grid. So let's get...
RNG still spazzing out in the pit lane.
Let's get some potential predictions in the chat. Who you think might win this race? Obviously we have the extra point for fastest lap as well. That's something these drivers might consider. But here we go, round 3 in the GT Sport League at Mount Panorama. We've got the grid start. There is the grid for you once again. You can see a few drivers flashing their lights in the background there, eager and ready to go for this race. It's going to be a really interesting race.
Yeah, it's only a small run down to turn 1.
And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be hopefully a great race. And what a nice camera angle from the start.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I can't see the 5 red lights, so I'm going to guess it's 5 red lights. Ow. And it's lights out and away we go.
Off to a really good start.
Tiger off to a really good start. Dutchy not off to the greatest starts. He's already dropped down into 3rd place, but Dutchy will try and hold it down the inside of Toussaint. He can't quite get into the lead through turn 1. Dutchy dropping down to 3rd place, and we got a spin of, I think that was Wolfie, had a half spin on the exit of turn 1. He was able to catch it really nicely though. My camera's glitching out a little bit. Let me just rejoin. And currently Tiger leading the way from his teammate Toussaint. We've got 2 cars going side by side. It's Epic and Furby into turn 2. Epic's going to go down the inside and retains 4th place from the start. We've got someone who hasn't started. RNG and Math Gamer haven't started. I don't know whether that's a glitch or something, but we've got Ted trying to get past Wolfie towards the back, and RNG's going to have a little look as well. But Play Dutchy all over the back of Toussaint now as they approach the uphill climb towards... you could say Death Corner. It's almost like Dragon Trail, but many corners. I think there's... And for the first time within the 60 minutes we approach the chicanes down to the S's. I think everyone's making it cleanly through so far. Epic going a little bit wide.
Touching the back of Toussaint. No damage though. Just a little bit of contact.
I think everyone has made it cleanly. We can see the helicopter in front of us in the cameras, but Tiger leading this way over his teammates. 7/10, almost 7/10 separate them, and Play Dutchy's going to look closely behind them, but with the straight line speed advantage, Epic's going to try and have a look potentially on Dutchy down in towards turn 20 and into turn 21, also known as the chase. All three of these corners that link up on board with Epic. He's not quite close enough to make a move yet, but he'll be eyeing up the rear of that Toyota.
Front bumper damage.
And
so does
yeah,
Wolfie
Finn.
with rear bumper damage.
Finn and Wolfie, you say, with damage, so maybe those two collided. I'm not too sure, I didn't quite see it on camera, but judging by the damage, they might have collided in this race. Both deciding to stay out with the damage done to their car as Tiger crosses the line and sets a fastest lap. Obviously he's leading the race. Math Gamer has unfortunately left, so that will be a DNF from him. And hello Black Country in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the race as much as we are enjoying the start. Play Dutchy down to 3rd place after not getting the greatest of starts. He's set a purple middle sector towards the back of the grid. Everyone's starting to separate out just a little bit, but our front runners keeping as close as they have been in the first 2 races. Epic only 8/10 behind this battle for the podium, and this race could go either way. I believe the top runners are on the soft tyres. Furky, Finn are on the super soft, Ted on the soft, so Scouting Ninja. We're down to only 9 drivers after a few glitches in the start of this race. Really unfortunate for them guys. But Dutchy, yeah, you can see the sparks flying off the walls. And yeah, like you said, less than a 10th between them. We're going to have to be really careful down the...
Pressure him through those twisty corners.
It is really easy to make a mistake in this race. You can see on board with the bumper, you can almost see into the car. That's how closely Dutchy is getting to behind Toussaint. You can almost see Toussaint actually driving the car if you look close enough, and they're really close behind now, scraping the rear of the Aston Martin. But this is where Play Dutchy lacks speed down the straights. That Toyota isn't the quickest in a straight line compared to the Aston Martin. As this is where Toussaint can have a little bit of a breather and know that if he gets a good exit, he's going to have a chance down into turn 20 and 21. But towards the back of the field, everyone's starting to spread out a little bit. Ted is looking on the back of his fellow Irish driving companion Wolfie. Aston Martin versus Toyota, so it's going to be a similar battle to what we've got up front. We've got 3 Aston Martins kind of battling out for the podium. We've got a Toyota up there as well, and the Aston Martin proving to be a popular car this season. Play Dutchy has 2-minute 1.4, the current fastest lap of the race on the soft tyres, as we're on lap 3 now with 55.5 minutes to go. We've already only had 5 minutes in this race. Math Gamer has left the room again. I believe if you do leave, you can't join back, unlike F1. Unfortunate for him. But Ted all over the back of Wolfie now. Maybe we'll see a move from the Aston Martin driver into turn 2. He pulls over to the right hand side, which will be the inside for turn 2, but decides to back out of that. Wolfie goes a little bit later into the brakes. Ted, though, getting onto the curb, that kind of unsettled the rear of his car and will stay behind the Toyota for now, but I'm sure he'll be looking to try and get past as quick as he can. Meanwhile, up front, Dutchy still less than 3/10 behind Toussaint, your previous GT Sport champion. And just look how close they are. Maybe I thought Dutchy was going to go into for a move into turn 12, but
would it be really risky, that move?
You would have to be in the smallest of car to make it to go side by side. Maybe in the N100 cars when they're slightly slower, but you might not have control, but you might have the speed to go through the corners. Maybe on a bicycle. But just just a nice thin bike, or a motorbike. It's just something nice and small. Maybe not these Group 3 cars. Yeah, I don't know how stable they'd be with that steep incline, but I think someone's lost it in the S's, and yeah, Scouting Ninja, he's got himself damage. We'll try and get a quick replay of that and see if I can catch on camera. Oh, he's already picked up damage before the incident. I wonder if Ted's got damaged, or whether he's picked that Ted still has his front damage and is actually maybe looking to look for a move on Wolfie into turn 20. Doesn't go for the move yet. So a few drivers picking up damage early on in this race, and I'm sure there's more to come.
Epic with the new fastest lap to 1.365.
So Epic. Wolfie actually is into the pits, presumably for the damage. But Epic setting the fastest lap of the race, as you say, now in the slipstream of Dutchy. So that's another purple sector. And Epic is going to want to try and sit in behind Play Dutchy for now. Maybe try and pressurise him into a mistake. Well, you'll know Dutchy's pretty consistent though. Tyre wear all looks the same. Finn's picked himself up some front damage. I don't know if that was from earlier on in the race, but the front four all separated by 2 seconds. So the front guys really close together, which should hopefully lead to a really interesting battle.
Still on the back of Toussaint. It's like he's gaining all this time in sector 2.
And on the front we can get some front camera action from Play Dutchy's car. And a nice camera angle. Might be the rear of Toussaint. You can just see the eagle-eyed, devilish looking Toyota as Toussaint's picked himself up a 2.5 second penalty for I'm assuming cutting this corner. If we ride on board with Ted, sorry, if we ride on board with Wolfie real quick, I'm assuming it's for this corner right here, as Wolfie's actually on the mediums, for cutting that corner there, and that cost him 2.5 seconds according to the game. So that fully shows the strict corner cutting penalties. Obviously he does not have to serve it immediately. He does have, well, the in-game rules, you know, he is allowed to wait the full 52 minutes to serve that 2.5 second penalty. He might try and brake a little bit earlier for some of the corners and try and reduce the penalty over a larger stint rather than taking it all instantly. This track position is quite important around this track, but the front four still within at least 2 seconds of each other. Meanwhile, the gaps in the midfield seem to have kind of opened up a little bit, with some of the guys picking up quite a lot of damage. You can see Ted's got bumper and suspension. Finn's also got aero and suspension damage. So some of these guys already hitting some of the barriers, which obviously cost them a lot of time. Toussaint served a 10th of his penalty, but that's not going to be enough for now. But Tiger though still leads this race. 3/10 only separate them between him and his teammate. They'll be wanting to try and push to extend the gap between them and Play Dutchy. Obviously in the championship, as Play Dutchy was almost looking for a move on Toussaint, he's really close behind him. They don't want to let him through here. As obviously we saw last week, Dutchy won by like 26 seconds or something like that. So Toussaint and Tiger will want to try and keep Play Dutchy as well. He'll want to try and keep him behind for as long as they can before he's able to escape and plough through this race. Toussaint getting onto the grass a little bit, down to the downhill section. Dutchy doing a bit of rallycross. Not a particular corner or track you want to be doing a little bit of drifting in your Toyotas, but unfortunate for Dutchy, he's all over the back of Toussaint, but that Toyota's not as quick in a straight line as the Aston Martin. As you can see on the onboard of Toussaint, Toussaint's just pulling away.
In the slipstream.
Even with the slipstream, you can see in the delta on the top right, he's pulling away from the Dutch driver.
I think he might have to make a move before that straight.
Oh, Dutchy getting pretty close to the rear of Toussaint once again. You can see just from the onboards how close they're all together. And maybe Toussaint, we could think of this as a little bit of team tactics. Toussaint might try and hold up Dutchy as much as he can, so Tiger can pull out a bit of an advantage. But the downside of that
Tiger
is
losing time now. He was 6/10 now to 3/10. Right, currently Toussaint's doing faster laps than Tiger.
What Toussaint wants to try and do is stay within the slipstream range of Tiger, but try and pull away from Play Dutchy, because if he starts backing up Dutchy, Tiger might he might drive away and win this race, but Toussaint's going to struggle in staying behind with the slipstream, as he's got 2.2 seconds left of that penalty to serve. Finn in the Ferrari still has the front damage. Ted has damage, and Wolfie has pitted for the mediums after he got a little bit of damage. But the front five still clean in this race with no damage. Epic still only a second behind these guys, so as long as he can keep it consistent in this race, I'm sure he'll be looking all over the back of Dutchy and Toussaint pretty shortly if these guys were to come into a slight issue, or there could be an on-track incident. Play Dutchy though, all over the back of Toussaint. Will he go for a move? And wisely sticks behind the British driver.
It's really hard to overtake through those sections. Oh, Dutchy's sliding over that grass. He always kisses that grass every time he passes that.
And the interesting thing about this track is there's a little bit, almost a little bit of contact, but the I don't see how Dutchy's going to get past here. If you kind of think about it, turn 1, 2, and before the final corner, they're all three straights, and the sector 2 and sector 3 is really difficult to overtake. So Dutchy's got to get this move done. Preferably into turn 2 is his only real overtaking opportunity. If he gets it done into the final corner, Toussaint will just come back at him into turn 2. So Dutchy's really got to plan his moves and maybe try something different with the strategy. But as long as he can stay within the DRS, maybe these guys up front might make a mistake. They might get some damage or pick up more penalties, and that could cost them a lot of time in this race. You can see Epic's only 7.5 tenths behind the front 3 as well. You can see on the minimap as well that some of these guys are starting to fall back a little bit. Obviously we've had some people pit for damage, some have still got the damage, one of them being Ted, and Finn's another. Finn actually coming into the pits in the Ferrari from those super soft tyres. He's got to negotiate his way through the chicane of the pit lane, and he'll be repairing that damage. The front 4 though, still the same from the first few races, so these front 4 are unsplittable. We'll just quickly see what tyres Finn goes onto. He goes onto the racing soft tyres. Obviously no one's going to be using the sport set of tyres, because these are the racing tyres, not the sport ones, and I don't think the intermediates or the wets are going to be used anytime soon. Dutchy, I thought he was going to go for another move. He keeps doing this to me, but we'll get some. Oh dear!
Just do it.
Just do it, Dutchy. Things haven't gone too well, but here we go. We're back in the spectator cam. Dutchy go for a dive down the inside. Doesn't quite go. I honestly thought he was going to go for that, and I saw it ending really badly. But you can see he's eager to get past that Aston Martin, but unable to make any way through.
That Toyota Hilux, no speed in the streets. It's almost like he got a Ferrari engine in there. Oh no, I was just kidding.
That he really is struggling in the straights with the Honda, the Toyota. And car number 88 unable to make any moves yet. And you can see Epic as well is closely behind Dutchy, so I'm not saying if Epic gets a wriggle on, but if he keeps it clean and consistent and maybe pushes a little bit each lap, he might find himself overtaking Play Dutchy if he can't find his way past Toussaint. The gap only 6 tenths between Dutchy and Epic, 5 tenths between him and Toussaint, but that gap's just going to get bigger and bigger through the first and final sector. And they all approach the front 4. All going into turn 4.
Go for it on Toussaint this time.
Tiger Assassin getting a good start, put him into the lead of the race. Play Dutchy from pole position down into 3rd after not getting the greatest of starts, probably getting a bit of wheel spin. Obviously the traction control, I believe everyone, I think everyone's got it off. It is allowed on, but I think most people have it on. And I think there was a move. Was there a move? I saw a flash. In the bottom it's Scouting Ninja getting passed by Finn, as I think he made a mistake in the final corner.
Oh, I thought Dutchy was going to try it on the inside there. Still needs to build more gap. Oh, Dutchy's going to try it right at the inside. Oh no, backs out again.
Dutchy just cannot get past. He is trying,
really strong.
but there is no way through for him now. As of yet, and it's pretty much the GT Sport of Monaco, but with elevation and a few more straights here and there. But down to 9 drivers. We're on lap 8. Already had 15 minutes, and you see what a really nice cameras. I think Epic's fallen back a little bit from Dutchy, but it's all. I wouldn't be too disappointed if I was Epic, only being 1.1 seconds behind. And here's the move. Two Saints gone off, and has outbraked himself. He rejoins the track in second place, but here comes Play Dutchy. Would he go for a move? And Epic. Where's Epic come from?
Epic comes from.
Epic has come out of nowhere.
Epic's second.
Let's get a replay on board with Toussaint now. Dutchy goes down the inside. There was contact between the two. That's why Toussaint went off. And I think Epic's got a good run on him. And then Dutchy had to brake behind Toussaint. I think Toussaint was rejoining the track to try and let Dutchy go through, maybe. But I think Dutchy might have been being a good sportsman to try and let Toussaint head back into third. Well, what was second, but now Epic is gone. Thank you guys, I'll take that. And he's got himself up into second. Tiger Assassin, 2.2 second lead because of it.
Really unlucky from both Toussaint and they're still battling out.
And they're still going at it.
Yeah.
So our first collision in this race has happened at the front. Not a major one, no damage from either driver. But I'm sure Epic will be smiling under that helmet, under his grey and turquoise style helmet, and there'll be a little grin saying thank you guys, Christmas has come early for him. Meanwhile Dutchy though still...
Has he finished on the podium?
I don't think so. I think Epic is still looking for his first podium in the GT Sport League. Dutchy though still looking at the rear of that Aston Martin. I think he's... oh, Dutchy's round! Dutchy's had a crash! Round. And our first spin from the front runners, and I'm sorry Dutchy for this, but we're getting a nice replay of that because I have access to it. So let's have him on board. He's onto the grass a little bit, and he just it's a weird one. It's quite a weird one from him.
That yellow thing sticking out on the track. Hate that yellow thing right there.
And how unfortunate for Play Dutchy. He's won the first two races, got pole and the fastest lap. Currently finds himself in fourth place as Toussaint almost looking for a move at Epic. Epic's on a little bit wide onto the grass. Riding on board with Toussaint now, pulling over to the right hand side, and will try and go round the outside into the final corner, braking just before the 50-meter board, and will try and get the cut back and get a good exit. A little snap though on the Aston, and I'm sure he'll tuck into turn 1 and try and make the move to turn 2. Would he go for it into turn 1 though? He doesn't. Dutchy pits from the soft tyres. Epic almost drifting through turn 1. Toussaint's got a good exit on him. We'll ride on board with Epic. We'll get a rear cam from on board with Epic. You can see the 007 on the rear. Toussaint squeezing himself to the inside.
Like Albon on Perez in Belgium 2019.
And Epic will try and hold it round the outside, but Toussaint goes down the inside. And nice good move from Toussaint, moves himself up into second place, back up into second with a 1.7 second penalty, but the gap between him and Tiger is 3.7 seconds now, as Fergie the Viper is into the pits from those super soft tyres. Tiger is going to be loving life now.
Tiger really loves this track, doesn't he?
One of his favourites on this track. It's a shame he couldn't race here last season. He was pretty much devastated, you could say. It's like stealing a lollipop from a little child. I don't know how much crying there was, but Epic getting close to Toussaint. But we keep building this up down at the Dipper, as it's called, but I don't think we're going to see any overtakes into that corner. So we might as well build it up. But I'm not expecting many moves in that corner. And Epic drifting a little bit on those worn soft tyres. And will we potentially see Dutchy? Not Dutchy, one of the front runners maybe try something different, maybe pit slightly early. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. But maybe someone might try something different if they're stuck behind traffic. Epic's gone really late on the brakes, and that's a adventurous line through the final corner, and that's cost him quite a lot of time, as the front three all into the pits. Toussaint, Tiger not having as much fuel as the other guys, only 3%. Compared to Toussaint and Epic's 9 and 10, so Epic braking a little bit too late for the penultimate few corners has cost him a fair bit of time. And this will be interesting to see where Dutchy comes out. We'll keep an eye on Tiger. When does that fuel come out of the car? The fuel's out of the car now, and Dutchy's only coming around the final corner. Toussaint's been released from his pit box as well. And where's Dutchy in all this? Dutchy is gonna come out behind Epic, just like it was before the pit stops, all onto the soft compounder tyre. So
between these drivers now.
So yeah, after the pit stops and after the incidents, the gaps have opened up quite a bit. There's Woody and Wolfie, both Irish, and they both got similar names. So I'm gonna make that mistake a few times. Wolfie, and they're both driving the Toyota, so it's, you know, bear with me. Wolfie closing in behind Finn. Finn repairing the damage, going onto the soft compound tyre. And he's in the Ferrari. He'll be trying to hold off the Toyota as long as he can. 38 minutes left to go in this race. And meanwhile, Tiger still leading the way. Woody's saying this track is difficult for overtaking. I'm assuming that's what the asterisks are. I'm assuming that's difficult and nothing else. And Woody's saying they don't pay him enough for him being their engineer. Woody, can I ask, who are you engineering? Because if it's Dutchy, you haven't done a great job there. He has made a mistake, so I wonder where that's come from. I'm only joking. But if you're engineering Tiger and Toussaint, you're doing a great job. They're currently sitting first and second for the BCMR team. Woody's coaching Dutchy and Wolfie, both of which have picked up damage. So I don't know whether there's been something going on there, or you know. I don't want to hint anything, but currently looking at the battle for 7th now. Speaking of Wolfie, he's trying to close in the gap down to the Ferrari. He's got a good run compared to the Ferrari through the final corner. He'll have the slipstream, no DRS, because this is an F1, and has closed, what's that, 4/10 on the Ferrari. Is the Ferrari struggling in a straight line? The Ferrari has damage. Finn has picked up front left damage, and Wolfie's gonna try and go around the outside, and I think Finn just let him go through there. As that was pretty close. Wolfie doing a bit of rallying again, more rallying from these drivers. I'm not sure if they're Finn into the pits. Don't know if I'm missing anything here, but I don't think rallying is the best way to go around this track. But correct me if I'm wrong. Dutchy though, 4.4 seconds behind Epic, and will be looking to try and close down the gap. Almost 10 seconds behind the leader, currently in 4th place in the Toyota, currently leading the championship with maximum points, 62 points he has in the front of the championship after winning both races with the fastest lap, so it's the full 31 points for him. If my internet works, I could tell you where everyone else is, but I think it's Toussaint or Tiger in 2nd and 3rd. But
Epic spawn!
And an Epic round, done well actually to turn it back round. But let's get a replay of what happened. Another victim into the Dipper, as it is called. It's a really interesting name for the Dipper. It literally is. So he's gone wide. He's lost it before the corner. He's gone wide onto the grass, and that's caused his car to spin round. So another victim to the chicane. Only a few drivers haven't made the mistake yet, but that's got Dutchy up into 3rd place. He's currently got his windscreen wiper in the middle of his car. I wonder if that's off-putting or an interesting design from Toyota. Let's see. Tiger normally has his on, but it's not on today. Maybe he's feeling, maybe he doesn't see the rain cloud as we all do. But in terms of the championship, then, yeah, Dutchy, as I said, leads the way. It's Tiger and Toussaint in 2nd and 3rd respectively. Only 3 points separate them, but if I can quickly do the maths, Tiger is only 17 points behind Dutchy, so it's pretty close in the top of the championship. Epic close behind Toussaint, actually in 4th place, 3 points behind them guys. And did Epic stay out? Epic did stay out with his aerodynamic damage. Someone's lost it in the chicane. I didn't see that. What did someone lose it, or was it just my... I think Scouting Ninja I don't know if he did lose it, or whether it's just the arrows on the map that made it look like he lost it. I'll just get a replay to make sure. And
staying out with the front bumper she got from that spin.
I don't think he just... I do apologise. I thought someone lost it. I saw the arrow go pretty quickly, and Wolfie picks from the mediums. Oh, Wolfie's got damage, so maybe it was him who picked up Maybe it was him who I saw. I don't know. But Wolfie in from the medium tyres will pit for fuel, and so Tiger currently he qualified in second place and got himself off to a good start. Currently leading this race.
Dodgy's still touching that grass where he spun last time.
And I'm sure the people who have crashed into this downhill section are probably going to take it more cautiously, as it probably might have had a knock-on effect of their confidence. As they're talking of knock-on effect of their confidence, Finn is off into the barrier turn 2. I don't know what that had to do with confidence, but I thought I'd relate it to the crash. Let's have a look what happened to the Ferrari. Braking for turn 2. Drifting onto the curb, and he tried to overcorrect it, and he's gone straight off into the barrier. How unfortunate for him. It was looking like a decent race for him at one point. It was up into 4th, but the camera's glitching out again. But anyway, the front 3, the top 2 still the same. Tiger Toussaint, Dutchy and Epic in 3rd and 4th, Furky 5th, Ted in 6th, currently 26 seconds behind Furky. Finn with the damage in 8th. I missed Wolfie, I do apologise. Wolfie's in 7th, he's on the medium, he's pitted for another set of medium tyres, so he might go to the end of this race if he keeps it clean. And Finn and Scouting Ninja might overtake Finn here. He's got himself a second penalty, but if Finn pits for the damage, he's got 6.6 seconds behind. He might probably come out ahead of Finn. But I don't think we have many on-track battles currently. Which means we have time to try and expose people's mistakes. No, I'm joking, but we'll see if anyone does make a mistake. It is really tricky to make a mistake here in this track. Obviously, it's pretty much Monaco, as we've all said, Mount Panorama in the hills of Australia. Quite a lot of elevation change, as you can actually hear the helicopter flying above. I don't know if you hear it, but Dutchy's gone wide, and it's gone well to control it. And as he approaches turn 11, one right on the exit of turn 10, drifting to hit the barrier with the rear of his car. That's how much he's drifting. He's hitting the rear of his car, and maybe he's struggling a bit on tyres or fuel, or maybe his confidence has been knocked from his earlier incident. Even the most experienced can have their confidence knocked by a few incidents. But this has allowed Epic to close down the gap. Currently now 3.6 seconds between these guys. Epic currently does still have the fastest lap of the race, but that might change towards the end of the race with fresher tyres and fresher fuel. But we'll just have to wait and see if that changes. Obviously we still have 30 minutes to go in the session. We've had 50%, almost 50% of the race gone. Another 50 to go, because that's how maths work. Scouting Ninja's got his 5/10 penalty. Finn didn't pit for his damage, so Finn decides to stay out on those mediums. I don't think anyone else has got damage. And Ted almost scraping the barrier through Forrester's elbow. Turn 18, I think it is. But everyone seems to be relatively cleanly. There's no gap, no close battles.
almost 6 second gap now. Really dominating on this track.
This is, as we said, almost like he might as well be his backyard. At this rate, he's currently winning by 6 seconds, as you say. Toussaint though, keeping a consistent gap, scraping the water. You can see the sparks. Last season at night, that was a really nice spectacle to see.
Singapore.
Yeah, almost like Singapore, and Dutchy's opened up the gap to Epic again. 4.5 seconds now. Epic does have that front bumper damage, so he's going to be slower in the higher downforce areas of the track. Obviously the front, side and rear of the car representing the aerodynamics, the tyres representing the suspension, and the engine. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, being the engine and the overall power you get from the car. That can obviously be affected by, close impacts, heavy impacts with barriers or other drivers. We haven't seen, I don't think we've had engine damage in this race, which is good to see, so only minor mistakes. Furky the Viper doing well to get himself up into 5th place. I don't think he's had an incident in this race. As I say that, getting pretty close to the barrier. Fergie the Viper finished in... I can't remember where he finished last week, but I think he got 5 or 6 points from last week's race, so I think he finished about 7th or 8th. I can't quite remember where he finished last week in Dragon Trail Gardens, but we've got a few cars close together actually. We've got Finn and Scouting Ninja as our closest battle on track, currently 3 seconds separated them guys. Scouting Ninja in the Mercedes, Finn in the Ferrari, Finn though with the front damage from the incident at turn 2 when he got a bit of snap on the rear. And who was Epic? Epic into the pits. Engine damage. So let's see if my replay cameras go far enough back. They don't, unfortunately. But I'm gonna guess he lost it.
Yeah. Into
the downhill section of the track. Have I? Am I? I can't tell if I'm. Oh no. No, I thought my replay cameras sent me back.
No, it did get it.
But Epic. I don't know what my cameras are doing, but there we go. Epic now out of the pit. So I kept spectating Epic, but it wasn't in the box.
Oh, he just lost the position to Fergie the Viper. Fergie the Viper up into 4th.
Fergie the Viper into the 4th there, but on the one soft tyres, I don't think they're going to last the remaining 28 minutes. So after, what's that, 33 minutes, we've had 16 laps. We might get another 15, 14 left to go before the end of this race, and I think it would be a great idea to get an onboard with someone. Let's go with our current leader, Tiger Assassin. If you're watching, let's make this a good lap, because we're going to be watching it in the onboard cameras. We might as well start it from turn 19 now. Into turn 20 we go, braking just after the 150 meter board down into 2nd gear to get the rotation, and smooth on the traction, hitting the apex, using all of the track limits, not going onto the curb in the penultimate corner. The final corner now, braking in between the 50 and the 100, you could say the 75 meter board, as he down to 2nd gear. Starting over the start finish straight now. That last lap was 2 minutes 2.8, and into turn 1, also known as Hell Corner, interestingly, into 2nd gear again. So a lot of 2nd gear corners around this track, climbing his way through the gears as he accelerates. The power of the Aston Martin down in the run down towards turn 2. I believe it's called Mountain Straight, as he approaches the higher altitudes of the mountain of this track. Down into 3rd gear, hooking up the apex nicely on the inside, and into turn 3, also known as the cutting corner. Wants to run a little bit wide so we can get a good apex here for turn 4 and 5, and looks clean from him so far. Obviously it's on the worn tyres, so he's not going to be as quick as on fresh. And we're going to have to cut this battle short as Epic going for a move. Oh, that was a massive snap of oversteer and exit. But Epic going side by side with the BMW. The BMW is going to tuck in behind though, and try and get into the slipstream. Fergie the Viper is going to struggle on those worn tyres. We're going to ride on board with the BMW for Epic, parking his car beautifully in the middle of the track. That is allowed, but the track not wide enough for the 2 cars to go through. So Epic, really good placement of the car, and has got himself up into 4th place. And meanwhile, Tiger currently got an 8.6 second gap, and Fergie will start to struggle. Scouting Ninja's got engine damage. I reckon he picked that up going down the downhill chicane. I was too busy looking at the battles to see what happened there. We've got a few people actually approaching the downhill. Who is why? Oh, it's Fergie the Viper and Epic. Epic won't want to have another spin like he did last time. Scouting Ninja into the pits to repair the damage from the medium compounded tyre, the yellow striped tyre, even though the colour of the tyre doesn't actually change in game, but it's still the yellow compounded tyre, the 3rd quickest. I should have said 2nd slowest, but one of the most, or more durable tyres. Meanwhile, Dutchy though, look at play Dutchy, 1.8 seconds behind Toussaint. Where's this mega time come out? And who's that coming out the pits?
He's more.
There's a lot of traffic up ahead for play Dutchy. He's got a Scouting Ninja and
yes.
Finn and Scouting Ninja are both battling for position, so neither of them are going to want to get out of the way. And in the words of Tiger Assassin, this is going to be interesting to see how Dutchy can.
Oh, Scouting Ninja!
And Scouting Ninja off into the barrier after overcooking it. Was that Scouting Ninja or was that Finn?
Scouting Ninja, I think it was.
Finn gets out the way nicely for Dutchy. Really good respecting the blue flags here. Doesn't cost Dutchy too much time. Dutchy only 1.8 seconds behind Toussaint, one of his championship rivals. And after the results of this race, if it finishes like this, we might see an overtake in the next few laps. Hopefully an overtake, and if the results were to finish as it is, Tiger will close the gap down to play Dutchy, overtake his teammate Toussaint in the championship, as my camera's glitching out once again. But I'm so sorry for anyone. I'm so sorry guys for that. My camera glitching out once again.
Ted into the pits.
And Ted into the pitch. He had
he's got engine damage. Yeah.
So that was probably a collision somewhere I didn't see. But looking at this battle for second place, I really wish they fixed that camera glitch. I don't know why it happens.
So far, no one has broken my record of most damages.
Most pit stops in a race.
Yeah. 8.
I'm not sure if it's a great record. I hold many great. Yeah, it's good to have a record. Even in the words of Kimi Räikkönen, all records are going to be broken at some point, and even if they're not the greatest ones. So
yeah.
It's still good to have a record, whether it's the most time penalties in a race, most incidents. That's probably the worst penalty to have, to be fair. Most disqualifications in a championship. We could go on. Someone's overtaking someone, I think. Oh no, that's just the timing screen. Scouting Ninja somehow picked up a 4.3 second time penalty. I don't know what you're doing there, mister. Cheeky corner cutting. That's completely unacceptable. No, but
actually 2 tenths quicker on the previous lap than Toussaint. He's really catching up to Toussaint now. He's using a lot of his fuel though.
Wolfie drifting through the S's, and play Dutchy, like you say, using up a little bit more of his fuel. And what's the tyre wear? He's got more tyre wear. Obviously he pitted early from that spin down at turn where did he spin? Turn 14 it was. Fergie the Viper's also into the pits. He didn't have damage. I'm assuming that's for fuel and tyres. If he pits for soft tyres, they can probably go to the end of the race. Play Dutchy though, almost within the second window of Toussaint. He's actually approaching the second window now. And Toussaint keeping it clean through the dipper into the S's now, before approaching Forrester's elbow. It's a weird corner name. Forrester's elbow. It's quite a mouthful.
Forrester's elbow. The second now.
And as you say, less than a second. This is where Dutchy will be struggling down the straights. He needs to get himself a good exit, or wait for Toussaint to get not the best exit through that corner. And the slipstream doesn't really seem to be helping. He is closing the gap though on Toussaint. And like you say, Dutchy's lap times are quicker than Toussaint, and in the last few laps, Dutchy's in the 2-minute 3s, 2-minute 2s almost. Toussaint in the 2-minute 3s, 2-minute 4s. 20 minutes to go. We've had 60% of the race, 30 of it left.
Tiger really having such a clean race. He's got no scratches or anything on his car.
I just realised what I just said. I said 60% of the race gone and 30% left. That is shocking. That we've got 33% of the race left, and we've had 60. Well, technically it's 33.3 because 20 divided by 60 is a third, which is 0.33. So forgive me. We've been here for 40 minutes already. It's a long time.
But she's got the blinker on his fuel.
So we might see Dutchy into the pits in the next 3 or so laps. And Fergie the Viper's picked himself up 2.5 second penalty, as I saw that earlier.
Finn has a lot of damage.
And something I've noticed. Oh, Dutchy literally pushing Toussaint through the corners. Let's go on board with the man Dutchy. Actually, let's go into a cockpit cam view and see this from inside Dutchy's perspective. I say that though. Finn. Oh no, that was just Finn. Finn letting someone go through.
Always drifting around that section.
Oh my
I
days.
think that's where he loses some of the time, and then he loses more time in the straights.
Yeah, definitely. Dutchy seems to be more confident in the corners. However, on the straights, he's just got nothing to give.
Yeah.
And let me just quickly. There we go.
At the top of the hills, like the gap is 3/10, and then when you come down to the bottom, it's now 9 to 7/10.
And we've got some really nice camera shots here, but like I say, Dutchy unable to close the gap on the straight. We've been seeing this for the past 40 minutes. I'm sure if you gave Dutchy a pen and paper, he'll be able to draw the rear of that Aston Martin as your race leader, Pitts. Toussaint and Dutchy follow him in. Dutchy getting really close behind Toussaint. It's a really tricky chicane to try and go through. Play Dutchy only had 1% of his fuel left. So this is going to be really interesting. Dutchy was right behind Toussaint. Who's going to put in the most fuel? I reckon if I was Dutchy, I wouldn't put in a lot of fuel and try and get out ahead of Toussaint, get the track position and save it in the top of the track. That might be a really good strategic call from Dutchy if he can make it work. Obviously, he doesn't know how much fuel Toussaint's putting in. Tiger's leaving the pits. Let's keep an eye on Toussaint and Dutchy. Toussaint leaves the pits. Dutchy leaves the pits at almost the same time. But Dutchy comes up behind. And is that Epic? Oh no, it wasn't Epic. It's just a lap car of Scout Ninja going through turn one and almost a little bit of contact, but only door scraping for now. Meanwhile, the battle for second continues. I'm just going to check if anyone's got damage. Speaking of damage, Finn has got damage everywhere. I have no idea what happened there. We've got a few drivers with penalties in the midfield. Bin has got a 2.3 second time penalty. Scouting Ninja a 2.8 second time penalty, so they're going to have to serve them in the remaining 17.5 minutes left to go in this race. And this has actually been a pretty interesting race. I know we've not had much overtaking, but the build up to the overtaking and when the overtaking is actually going to happen is what's keeping this race alive. You can see the marshals taking pictures of the cars as they approach. The quick left-hander really easy corner to make a mistake on, as we saw. Epic do area. Dutchy once again onto the grass. He's trying to push as hard as he can. He's got damage.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and he's got damage again.
Touch the wall again.
Let's get
this is so unfortunate, bro.
An on board of what happened with Dutchy here into the left-hander. Turns in a little bit early. Oh, he turned in too early. He hit the barrier on the inside of turn 10, and he's round again. And that's really unfortunate for your current championship leader. He's lost it down at Forest Elbow, turn 18. That's going to allow Scouting Ninja to unlap himself. I think he'll just slightly lift off and let Dutchy go back through. Epico though, only 3 seconds behind. And with only 16 minutes to go, I'm assuming Dutchy's going to pit. Will he close the time back? We'll just have to wait and see.
He only has front bumper damage, and maybe he might stay out. If it doesn't affect him too much. Epic could potentially get his first podium finish.
Dutchy appears to be coming into the pits. He's on the left hand side of the track. He does come into the pits. So similar to last season, we had a few incidents in the remaining minutes, the remaining 10 minutes of last season's race. Play Dutchy though, bottling it for the wow. Right on board with Dutchy.
Okay.
Notice there is a 6.5 second time penalty for cutting the pit lane entrance. Can we just hang on? That is a round of an applaud. I think that's.
Jesus.
I'm not sure. I think it's almost a record.
From that. Let's give him 6.5 second time penalty.
Wow. Whoa. Hang on a minute. Dutchy going under the soft tyres. I'm sure he's fuming underneath that helmet. And he's going to be pushing as hard as he can go to close down the 4.3 second gap. 15 minutes to go. 4 second gap. Oh god, let's think. Epic running onto the grass a little bit actually. Dutchy needs around 3/10 a lap quicker than Epic
to try to get past it.
To gain on the last lap, and Epic's drifting through. Whoa, hang on a minute. Can we?
replay of that, please?
Well, let's do that. Let's just appreciate the skill and talent here. And look at that, just a perfect drift, hits the apex. 10 out of 10.
Drifting points plus 100.
And that's an extra. If any of the stewards are watching, that's an extra 10 points for skill and. Well, that's one way to get screen time, I guess.
But Dutchie's gained a little bit of time from that.
And yeah, Dutchie gaining time.
But
Someone
still,
picked
that's
himself a
6.4
penalty.
time
And
penalty.
God.
So if
sorry,
he
I
doesn't
just-
serve that by the end of the race, will it be added on?
If he doesn't serve it by the end of the race, it will round up to a 7-second time penalty. So that'll be fun for him. But he's
Maybe
got.
try and get past Epic and then build that 6-second gap and then slow down again.
It's going to be an effort. He might make a claim against it. He might have a word with the steward and see if he can get that removed. Because for just cutting a little corner into the pit lane and getting
6 seconds.
almost 6.5 second time penalty is quite a lot.
Probably only gained like a 10th from that.
He probably didn't even get much at all, to be fair.
Yeah.
And really unfortunate for him.
He was going in for a pit stop anyways.
In for a pit
It
stop.
wasn't like a normal
And the
corner.
game's like, you know what, mate? Let's screw you over in this race. You're leading the championship. Let's close the gap down. But currently now running 1.6 seconds behind Epic in the Aston Martin. Epic on much worn tyres and lower fuel though. Dutchie able to serve a little bit of his time penalty, and that's Epic almost losing it in turn 10 again. It seems to be that Stolman Park is a tricky corner or a tricky set of corner for Epic. And Dutchie though within 8/10. We're going to probably see similar events to the battles he's had with Toussaint. Epic will be the dominant car in a straight line. Dutchie will need to get a good exit, tuck in behind the slipstream and use his fresher tyres and his ability to go quicker in the corners to his advantage.
Fuck it, man, on the gravel. I saved it nicely.
Back the Viper, yeah, like you say, a little bit loose and came onto the gravel. Almost a 2-second time penalty. Play Dutchie has still got 6.5 seconds to serve, but I don't think he's interested in serving that anytime soon. He's all over the back of Epic and will probably be wanting to get the move done as soon as he can. Epic will want to get a really good run from turn 1 down the mountain straight into turn 2. Dutchie able to serve a little bit of his penalty. Epic though running almost a little bit wide. That's going to give Dutchie the opportunity to go alongside down the straight, but it's going to be enough for him to make the move into turn 2. They're going to go down by. They're identically equal to each other. The delta is 0, and Dutchie's going to try and go round the outside into Griffin's Bend.
Holds in the inside.
Dutchie later on the brakes round the outside, and hit that man is on a charge to try and make his way back through into this race. But with
14 seconds to gap to
14 seconds and 11 minutes, that's about 1.1 seconds a lap, and it's quite a lot to ask of him with a 6.4 second time penalty. Stewards might remove that though, so it's going to be interesting to see what happened from his POV. POV. Obviously, there is a chicane going into the pit lane, so he might have cut it a lot. The game thinking he cut the final corner instead of going into the pits, which is why he's got such an excessive pit penalty. Wolfie into the pits for. I'm assuming this is for fuel, as he's only got 5% left. 10 minutes to go into the blah blah words. 10 minutes to go until the end of this race. There we go. I need a script for the whole hour. And someone set a purple sector, I think. I don't know if that's the timing screen, but we've actually got a pretty close battle for 7th place here. Sorry, not 7th, 8th place. That's a minute and 4 seconds. But Scouting Ninja and Finn currently a second behind each other. Dutchie though extending his gap to Epic and closing it to Toussaint, but I don't think Dutchie's going to be able to close the gap. However, we've seen it before, and we're probably going to see it again. Incidents can happen, and never count Dutchie out. Epic into the pits. This could actually be for a fastest lap attempt. Dutchie has stolen Epic's fastest lap with 1 minute 1.0. He's going to put in a little bit of fuel, I would imagine, to guarantees he can go the remaining 9.5 minutes. What tyres does he go on to? It's a fresh set of soft tyres. So keep an eye on Epic here. We'll see if he sets the fastest lap of the race.
Well, race from Tiger. Quiet, but he's really out there.
Yeah, and similarly to Dutchy, Tiger leading the way. 10 seconds clear. He got himself up into the lead.
Really good points for
Turn 1,
disruptors.
lap 1, and like you say, really good points for the BCMR racing team. The team sponsored by the Black Country Meta Recovery, and the sponsor of the league, as we've said before, picking up almost maximum points. If they got the fastest lap, then that would be the full points in this race. But with 8 minutes left, I wonder if we will see any more incidents or something. Sorry about that, I just had to
Yeah, just Ted just spun entering the pits. Look, more like a half spin.
so yeah, Ted up into the pits, Fergie the Viper. There's yellow flags.
Oh,
Who's
Finn's
lost
round.
it? Is it? Finn in the Ferrari. How unfortunate for him. Currently in 9th place though, with rear damage. Has he had a collision with Scouting? Scouting doesn't have damage. Scouting though does have a hefty penalty.
4.1 second. Probably just cutting a little bit on the corner.
Dutchy, Epic. Oh no, Epic. Epic pitting might benefit Dutchy. Dutchy will be able to serve his 6.4 second penalty and come out ahead of Epic.
That's true.
As he's gone 3/10 quicker in the first sector. Let's ride on board with Play Dutchy on this lap. Let's get a nice onboard shot of the man on a mission. His fastest lap's a 2-minute 1.5, set on his 23rd lap. Currently with a 6.4 second time penalty. Probably one of the biggest time penalties we've seen in a long time. But on board we'll Play Dutchy now, riding the curb a little bit but cleanly and effectively. This is where he lost it last time, doesn't turn in too early this time, as he approaches the dipper now for turn 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 at the formerly known, also known as the Yeses, as he approaches Yeses now, where he's spanned for the first time into turn 16, 17 down into 18. Scouting Ninja going side by side with Finn. Scouting Ninja trying to go round the outside like Dutchy did, and a good move if he can pull it off a little bit later on the brakes, and Finn is able to go through and retain 8th place. Meanwhile, Play Dutchy with his hefty penalty is trying to get a bigger fastest lap. He's currently 3.5 tenths down, so he's made a little bit of a mistake in the middle sector, and I don't think he's going to get the fastest lap currently on this lap. Epic behind him though, and a fresh set of soft. Let's see if he's improved on his lap. Has he gone purple? He's 1.4 seconds off, so he might have made a mistake. He seems to be ghosting. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
I think he's still in the race. His throttle
Tiger with purple
inputs.
sectors now.
Has he paused the?
Who?
The lines Epic. I don't know. Is he racing?
His car is ghosted.
He's ghosting with his hazard lights on, and judging by the lines and the throttle inputs, I'm not sure he's racing.
Oh,
It's hard to.
maybe his AI took over. Oh well.
Just keep an eye on that later on in the race. Play Dutchy, he's been able to reduce his time penalty from 6.4 to 6.3 seconds. And Finn is going to try and have another look on that Scouting Ninja now, actually, into the final corner. Doesn't go for anything yet, but the Ferrari tucked up behind the Mercedes. Finn, though, with big rear damage, and he's round off into the barrier. And that's Finn.
No.
Round at the final corner. We'll get a quick replay of what happened there. Finn, I don't think there was contact. Got onto, yeah, with the rear aero and suspension damage. He got onto the what's it called, the curb and the grass, and that sent his Ferrari spinning. And unfortunately for him, he's got to do another whole lap with the damage done to his car. But I think Epic's back now. His car is unghosted, but the gap between him and Dutchy is now 22 seconds. So if I would play Dutchy, I'd serve that penalty, and it'd be beneficial for him to serve it now rather than later. He's got Ted in front of him as a blue flagged car.
Slipstream to try and get fastest lap.
Potentially, Dutchy currently does have the fastest lap. He's flashing his lights at Ted in the Aston Martin, currently teammates with Epic. And Ted will probably say that was a strategical move of getting out of the way, but I'm sure losing the rear was a part of it, as we got another cheeky quick replay of it there. Currently got front aero and suspension damage. And just another quick word on Tiger Assassin. He's led pretty much every single lap apart from the run down to turn 1. He's been absolutely flawless this race. No mistakes from him. He's been able to keep his car clean, consistent, but also quick in this race.
Yeah.
11.5 seconds clear of his teammate, and is on for his first win of the season, his second in Gavra Racing and his second in the GT Sport League. Dutchy reducing his time penalty slowly but surely, now down to 6.1. And Ferky the Viper's into the pits. Only 8% of his fuel left, so maybe he'll put onto the super soft tyres and we'll try and go for the fastest lap. He's also got the We Race as one logo, the rainbow on the front of his helmet, a really nice addition to that helmet. And we've only got 2.5 minutes to go, so I reckon, this is what I've done last season with Thunder, I'm going to say it's whoever's coming through the final corner now. Tiger Assassin, I think, will win this, will be the first driver to come across the line and will win the race on track, as well as with the time remaining. 2 minutes to go, so Tiger, this will be his final lap of the race. This will be almost everyone's final lap of the race. I don't know how many of these guys are going to make it to the line. We'll have to wait and see. Dutchy though, he might want to serve that 6-second time penalty. It doesn't have to. It will round up to 7, I think. I don't think it rounds down to 6. And it's been a great race from the majority of drivers. Toussaint defending really well from Dutchy. Toussaint actually setting purple first sector. Let's keep an eye on this actually as he approaches turn 2 now. Or have a quick look at his middle sector when he approaches it. But only a minute to go in the qualifying session. And Charles Leclerc saying it's been a great race. It's been a good race. Wolfie setting a personal best lap on the final lap of the race. Be interesting to see if he can complete it. Play Dutchy getting a little bit loose, drifting through turn 5 and 6.
Easy on the rear.
And we've only had one collision in this race.
Yeah,
and Toussaint and Dutchy, but there was no damage. So in terms of racing, it's been a really clean race. And there have been a few drivers who have hit the barriers and made a few mistakes, but one driver.
See that Epic. Oh, it doesn't get damaged, but went straight to the wall.
And one driver who hasn't made any mistakes, who's kept his car clean and consistent. Tiger Assassin 99, your Academy Premier Super League Weekend League commentator. Another one of the people on the podcast joined with me and Toussaint will come round the final corner in this race for the BCMR team in his Aston Martin, led almost every single lap, and will win round 3 in Mount Panorama. It's been an absolute commanding, storming race from him. His teammate defended really well against Dutchy. He's happy with his result and will come across the line in second place. Play Tiger Assassin will jump him and his teammate in the championship. Play Dutch, if he can keep it clean. He served his second time penalty. Will come round the final corner after crashing twice. Will finish in third place as he spins across the line. Someone else is coming across the line as Ted will finish in second place in this race. Wolfie though actually setting a purple middle sector apparently on those super soft tyres, so I'll keep a click on that towards the end of the race. Play Dutchy will get the extra point as it stands for the fastest lap at 2:01 flat. Epic has made a few mistakes in this race. Something happened to him and he span on the final corner. Epic has span on the final corner of the race. He's got big engine damage. I think the gap between him and Ferky though is significant enough for him to come across the line and finish in fourth place. Slowly but surely, with damage to his engine and suspension, will come across the line in fourth for the Dusty Racing team. Berkey the Viper will finish in fifth place if all goes well. Pretty much best of the rest for now as it stands, with your top four in the championship. His best result in the season, I believe, for the BMW team, comes across the final corner and will get a solid fifth place in this race. Wolfie though set fastest sectors. I don't know what his other sectors were like. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Scouting Ninja comes across the line and finishes in 8th place. Finn will be the last one to come across the line as he's got big damage. Wolfie in replacing Woody tonight as Dutchy's teammate. Will he set the fastest lap? No, he won't. No, I can already see. Unfortunately, he won't. But comes across the line, finishes in 6th, and Finn in the Ferrari will come across and finish in 9th. And there is your final grid for today's race, round 3 of the GT Sport League. And good win from Tiger Assassin. Moved his way up into second in the championship, and there you have it. His second win in the championship in the league. His first win of the season. And he'll want to keep this momentum going. But that has been the end of round 3 in the league. Make sure to join us next week for round 4 at Alsace Village. Same time, same place. Next week, same drivers hopefully. And make sure to tune in Sunday for the F1 event at Bahrain, Britain and Abu Dhabi. 325% races. And it should hopefully be a good one. Thank you Cryptech for joining me in the commentary box once again. But until then, we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.